Jeff.
Matthew Knowles came forward and spoke with TMZ about Beyonce being snubbed
Yes.
for Album of the Year a billion times.
Right.
And here's what he had to say.
Okay.
Time after time after time for everything. I get it. But she has won 32, and really, as you say, 36 awards. So it's not that she's been overlooked. So why do you think that this one category is where they're disrespecting?
People don't know the process. Your record label can only appoint one person to the category. So that means her record label will call you out on your records. Her record label has never really put her in that category for consideration.
But she's been nominated, and I guess that's the problem, Matthew, is that people feel like they nominate her for Album of the Year, but then they give it to someone who, in the eyes of a lot of fans, had an inferior album. They were overlooked time after time after time forever. And that's the question, is like, why are they singling her out in that category?
Well, again, you have, going back to it ago, Beyonce on the same record label. The record label can only support one of those artists.
Why do you think that the label, which has made a fortune off Beyonce, why would they choose Adele over your daughter?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, there's a financial reason. Maybe Adele sold more records worldwide. I don't know these answers. But these are some of the thought processes that they go through.
And that's the question, is like, why are
All right, so there you go. That's Beyonce's dad.
Now, what is the relationship between Beyonce and her dad?
That's your department. I don't know.
I'm only asking because I understand where he's coming from, but I also want to make sure that he, as a source of this information, is credible.
Yeah.
Because he does not handle her business dealings anymore.
Right. That's Hope's department.
So, yeah, I'm just curious about what stake he has in her career at this point. But other than the fact that he's her father.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask the question. We don't need to dive into that. But I think he said something really important by saying that the label is involved and it has to do with the large acts coming out of that particular label.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they essentially have to decide who to push to the forefront for Album of the Year.
Well, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go. Please.
It doesn't make sense to me what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why.
Mm-hmm.
We know, and maybe we know this because we're a little more savvy about music than the average consumer.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that a lot of the music companies are really subsidiaries of three companies.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I'm not sure how true what he's saying is. Because how would that work? Even a company like Columbia has a bunch of subsidiary companies. How could Columbia only submit one artist per category? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't, because that's just not how the industry is. Okay, when we talk about market share, right? And that's why I said this is not, maybe the average listener or consumer of music, this is going to sound weird, but as far as market share, Columbia owns a specific piece of the music world, period, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then inside their piece of market share, let's just say, I wish I had a bowl close to me, but let's just say there was a bowl. Inside that bowl are all these little other subsidiary companies, but it's all Columbia.
Right.
So how would Columbia only submit one artist? Because most people are not only signed to Columbia. I don't think Beyonce is only signed to Columbia because she signed to her own label, which is a subsidiary of Columbia.
Right. She's signed to Parkwood Entertainment. That's why I'm making these faces, because I was gonna ask you, how does Parkwood come into play?
Yeah, I'm about to look up
with
her
regards
last
to
release.
Columbia. But I hear you, and I agree with what you're saying.
What the hell is my house?
I also am confused because Adele and Beyonce, and I don't know if this is just specific to Album of the Year or if this is specific to multiple categories, but Beyonce and Adele have been nominated for the same award before. I don't remember which one, and I don't remember what year, but they have been nominated in the same category previously.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't seem accurate. I also have Beyonce's Renaissance album pulled up on Spotify. It says copyrights 2022, Parkwood Entertainment LLC, under exclusive license to Columbia Records, a division of Sony Music Entertainment. And that's why I'm talking about market share.
Right,
because Sony/Columbia is one of the huge conglomerates of the music industry. It doesn't make sense to me that they would only be able to put up one person. That means that really Album of the Year or any category would only be able to have 3 or 4 nominees.
Right.
And we know that's not the case. We've seen situations where Def Jam, for example, or Universal, for example, which is the parent company of Def Jam, has had all 5 people in the category.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. And again, that's why I'm saying I'm trying to, I know that he was very involved in her career at one point, but he hasn't been for a very long time. And I'm just also wondering, is this more unique to, if let's assume for a second he's telling the truth or he's giving accurate information. Saying he's telling the truth is not the right way to say that, but let's say he's giving accurate information. Then is that specific to Album of the Year? Because everybody's not going to be nominated for Album of the Year, right?
He didn't say Album of the Year. He said her category.
Yeah. Yeah, so to me, that's weird because I could see it for Album of the Year. Like, you have to be able to get behind an artist in order to campaign for them, because there's a bit of campaigning that happens for these big awards. I think there was even an artist on the Grammys that just happened over the weekend that mentioned that they actually, have to go in and listen to the albums and all of that in order to make their selections. So I'm wondering if if that were true, could it be that that's true for specific categories? Even, I know he didn't say that, but I'm just thinking for Album of the Year, yeah, you would want, if your label is, you would want your label to be able to back whoever it is so that you can push them forward. If you create, I mean, you could also argue divide and conquer, put Beyonce and Adele in the category so that at least one of them get it.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like, and I don't know this for sure, but I know what it's like to be a black lady. And it almost feels like somebody over at the Academy met Beyonce one day and didn't like her very much. You can't blackball Beyonce, right? But you can do little things, can't you?
Yep.
And I just wonder, is there somebody she rubbed, or maybe she didn't even rub the wrong way? Is there somebody who is rubbed the wrong way by her? Who has sway and has power and has just decided that she will never get that?
Possibly.
I don't know. It's frustrating. I was less frustrated last year. This year, I'm like, ugh. It just really gets me because I'm like, what is it? What the hell is it? And like I said, I know
Right.
what it's like to be a black lady. I don't know what it's like to be Beyonce, but I do know what it's like to be a black lady. And I feel like sometimes if somebody has it out for you, it could completely throw things off.
Right. I'm trying to find who was nominated last year for album of the year. Okay, got it. So last year you had, yeah, see exactly what you said. Just is what happened last year, and so that has to be wrong. Album of the year last year, the nominees were ABBA, Voyage, Adele, 30, Brandy Carlisle, In These Silent Days, Coldplay, Music of the Spheres, Bad Bunny, I'm not saying that out loud, Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers,
Mm-hmm.
Lizzo, Special, Mary J. Blige, Good Morning Gorgeous Deluxe, Beyonce, Renaissance, and Harry Styles, Harry's House. Harry Styles won, but you just said that Beyonce and Adele were both nominated at the same time, and you're right. And not only are you right, but I looked up Adele's last album, 30, which is the one that was nominated last year at the 65th Annual Grammy Awards, and her label situation is identical to Beyonce's. Hers is Melted Stone is the label under exclusive license to Columbia Records, a division of Sony Music Entertainment. Same shit as Beyonce, both
Yeah.
in the same category. Sorry, Dad, but you ain't making a lot of sense.
I think Beyonce's daddy just likes to get chatty every now and then because he knows he's outside of the loop and he's outside of the circle. So he kind of gets involved. He kind of sticks his nose in things that he really probably shouldn't be involved in. I think that's kind of what happens.
Yeah, it just didn't
Beyonce,
make sense. That's why I was like, it just didn't seem to add up to me. That's why I thought it's interesting that he said that, but as we were playing it, I'm also like, yeah, but does this have any validity to it? Because I don't know if it does the way that labels and market share work in the music business.
yeah, no, you're making a lot of sense, and I don't think that it's that simple as he said it. Um, So yeah, I don't know, but I'm sure Beyonce just be tired of all of them.
Oh yeah.
The mama, the daddy, even the husband, because her face after he said what he said the other night,
Right.
he was like, "But I didn't ask you to
He's
get
like,
up
I just
there.
came here in my cowboy hat to block people. That's it.
I didn't ask you to say that. What made you? What made you
Right.
say that in front of all these people? You know we
Whoop.
don't talk to the public."
Right.
So yeah, very interesting, and only her mom, because her mom don't play about her, so her mom is
Oh
always
yeah.
like,
Mom Dukes don't play.
excuse me, I heard y'all said something about Beyonce or Solange, and I'm
Right.
gonna let you know what it really is.
Right.
So yeah,
Absolutely.